I've tried to figure out what exactly about the school feels so special. That concept I unsuccessfully tried to explain to Yuko the other day. It's still difficult, but the track meet and all the time I've spent observing my fellow students have helped my ideas mature a little. Have you noticed that people talk all the time? I can't really explain it, but... Once again, as I try to explain my observation, I'm struggling for words. The student body is heavily clicked, and I'm only now beginning to make sense of the intricate grouping and popularity networks, and yet the feeling of being part of a group is stronger here than I remember being at my old schools. Well, I'm trying to say the school isn't like other schools, or at least the students aren't, even after discounting the obvious. You know what I mean? I do not know what you mean. Oh well, whatever. I want to pursue the issue, but at that point, Nomiya arrives, not agrees. The teacher's wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief and breathing rather heavily, quickly glances over the room, then settles down a bit. Hello, apologies for being late. Is everyone present? Good. I must confess I haven't really planned anything for today, as I have been extremely busy, but I'm sure you can come up with something entertaining. Anyone have any suggestions? I was thinking we could have a discussion circle since we haven't had one in a while. I at least found the last one magnificently enjoyable. There's some murmurs here and there, but nobody raises their voice in support or against Nomiya. We could delve into various moments of art, or does someone have a good topic in mind? Come on, throw it out there. It doesn't matter if it's silly or odd. We can always cook up something interesting. Nobody seems to be brave enough to make the suggestion. As the awkward silence refuses to be broken, I lift my hand in the air. Our newest friend seems to have something on his mind. Speak up, my boy, speak up. Oh, well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've always wondered why art exists in the first place. My voice trails off as silence sets in the room and nobody makes a follow-up on my meek suggestion. Then the teacher bursts into laughter. Excellent. Very good indeed. Right out of the gate with the big one, huh? Fabulous! Chuckling, he shifts some papers around his desk for a few moments. When he's done, he appears to have made some sort of decision. Very well then, let's run with it and see where it gets us, shall we? Oh my, even an old fogey like me get excited with such delicious enthusiasm. Ew! His tongue is dripping spit out of his mouth. Yeah, put that darn thing away, mister. Ew, I can't even. For some reason, the teacher seems to be almost literally bursting with excitement. He's drooling as he scribbles a few things down on a loose sheet of paper, then cleans his glasses with a handkerchief. He strikes a pose, then freezes for an overly dramatic artistic pause that spans what must be half a minute. It's so quiet, I could hear a pin drop. Drop the beat. First, let's come up with a few questions, and then we'll have answered, such as, what is art? Why does art exist? Anyone have any questions that might be related? The boy with sunglasses pipes up almost immediately. His voice is soft and quiet, and I have a hard time making out what he says. What defines an artist? After him, another question comes up. If I fill a cardboard box with water and call it art, is it art? Everyone laughs at that, even the teacher. Great, wonderful, all these. Let me start by saying there is not a clear-cut issue by any means, and as such, I'm not going to give you any answers to. I'm only going to speak from my own perspective. Scholars have argued about these sort of questions since time immemorial, and there have been really reached. There are, however, some qualities that most tend to generally agree upon. Hopefully, you all should find these acceptable as well. In short, art defines itself. It simply cannot be contained to a definition from the outside, since the boundaries of art expand and contract from forces within. Every day, someone somewhere comes up with something incredibly outrageous that challenges any and all preconceptions. The core reason for this is that rather than the rational side of the mind, art appeals to the institution, the instinct, the primal. You find it very hard to explain why exactly it is that you enjoy some particular style of piece, no? He doesn't wait for a response before continuing. This is exactly why. So art is a sort of wild, uncontrollable thing that lurks somewhere deep in our subconscious. So why does it exist? Nomiya apparently expects someone to pipe up with a guess, but as nobody dares interrupt his inspired speech, he continues. It was a trick question. You see, art also validates itself. Generally speaking, you might say that art exists for no other reason than itself. It's something that exists merely to leave a mark in history. It's defiance of immortal against the face of darkness, as once was said. Art is truly the proof of our existence. You all know the human culture and civilization are tightly tied to the existence of art. Then, what about artists? What drives a man to dedicate his life to a thing too fickle and mysterious and even defies definition? There are many answers for this as artists, but as to put into words, an artist doesn't make art because he can, but because he must. Maya takes a pause as gaze sweeps over his audience, eyes flaring with passion. It's obvious that art touches the very soul of each and every human being in one way or another, too. If you were given a chance to connect with your fellow man in such a fundamental way, how could you not? There is a poem I'm very much fond of, and I shall recite the most well-known part of it to you now. I feel for me personally, of all possible things, it captures best in the essence of what it means to be an artist. Nomaya leans against the guest as he clears his throat in participation. Nomaya leans against the desk as he clears his throat in preparation. Looking at some distant place, he utters the words in a heavy afternoon air with soft basso voice. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinitely in the palm of your hand, an eternity for an hour. There's a solemn and unbelievably awkward silence after he finishes reciting the short fragment. Nobody dares speak a word. Maya clears his throat again. To be an artist is to see the world in a grain of sand. You see, dear children, without art, there would not be much to live for in this world. It is a most profound thing. He is clearly touched by the notion. I almost expect to see a lone tear rolling down his rough cheek, but it never comes. I turn to Rin and whisper to her, This guy's crazy. How is this a discussion circle? She shrugs nonchalantly back at me. The previous ones were the same. To his credit, Nomaya does try to get some debate going, but the club seems to be reluctant to comply. I feel a little guilty about opening my mouth. Maybe we would have been spared from this. Yeah, way to go, HISAO. As the meeting comes to a close, I realize we haven't once touched any paint or pens today. I feel somewhat disappointed. Nomaya suddenly appears to us. He seems to be fired up from his speech. His cologne smells musky and saccharine. I don't know what that is. At the same time, gives me an instant headache, even though I'm not sensitive to perfumes. He's looking at Rin like a hungry wolf. That's creepy. Tezuka, do you remember Miss Side Noju Visitors Festival? I think so. I'm going to tell you something amazing. The thing is, she's a very well-known gallerist around here. It turns out I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work on display. He ends his sentence with a dramatic gesture. It seems he's expecting Rin to show some sort of joyous, shocked reaction to such news, but she just stares at him. Magnificent, isn't it? And there could be a real chance for us to get ahead, girl. But... Now, I know what you're about to say. Yes, it would be a simple affair. But I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity, even if it's not simple. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we made it big. That could be your first step. And then when the world's out, we strike big. Yeah, that sounds good, if you're into that. We most definitely should not pass this one up, am I right? I don't really... Rin seems to be troubled for some reason. I can't figure out why. What Nomaya is saying does indeed sound like a possibly great thing. She looks pretty down, though, and confused. I've never seen her like this. So, what do you think? Rin looks up at her teacher's glowing face and then back down at her desk. I'll think about it. Nomaya is at last taken slightly aback by Rin's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles wildly at her and gently pats her head. Raja, good girl. Wah ha ha ha. Wah ha. Wah. 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 The club meeting's finally over and I lazily collect my things and help clean up. I start feeling exhausted for some reason. There isn't much to do. I catch up to Rin, who left the club room just a moment earlier, so we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Nomaya's passionate speech about art. Rin seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her, I've learned, but something about her expression makes me feel really uneasy. Roja, penny for your thoughts? Oh god, I can't get out of the voice, wait. What is HISAO? Penny for your thoughts. How about, hey, Patty, for your thoughts? There we go, that's better. That'd be too cheap. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. Not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'd be fraud, too, like stealing candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is this about what the teacher said? Getting your work put up on display and all? She doesn't answer, but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around. It's very quiet. Footsteps echo from a few floors up as someone hurries along the hallway. I think I'm going to be going somewhere elsewhere. I think she really is troubled. Want company? I can't promise much help with the thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do. I'm supposed to do some light exercise. If you like. Rin leads me outside to the wall behind the dormitories. There's a small back gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads to the shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate's rusty, as if it hadn't seen much use. However, it sits open, so we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. A path leads deeper into the forest. Tall salcova and maple trees rustle in the wind, their canopies creating patches of chill air hanging in the places where the shadows fall. The forest smells strongly of earth. Well, of course it would. It's a frickin' forest, HISAO. Oh my gosh, I almost feel cold, even though the midsummer day is hot as ever. Rin trudges ahead like a sleepwalker, sure-footed, but with no apparent destination in mind. Her thoughts seem to be somewhere else. I follow behind, taking more care to watch where my feet land. The path follows the land uphill at a low angle, sometimes making little detours downhill before climbing back upward. The muted brown and gray trunks line the path on both sides, peppered with ferns and other wild growth. I meant to say undergrowth. Fuck it. Look at the trees! That's the only wood HISAO's gonna get. He can't get boners. After a little while, I start getting worried. The path is still wide and clear, so there's no chance of getting lost, but it doesn't look like we have any particular destination. There's nothing wrong with a bit of aimless wandering around, but I don't want to go so far that I get tired. I'm starting to get a little winded, and my legs feel heavy. I want to stop and get a chance to catch my breath, but Rin keeps going. Where are we going? Are we going anywhere? Worry tree. Oh, I see. So what exactly is the worry tree? It's just a tree, like this. She stops in front of a particularly large maple that might or might not be the worry tree. Its lush green leaves sway lightly in the breeze, blowing through the small clearing we entered. Oh, I guessed as much. There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery if you are miserable, only by people, I mean. Me, and the tree isn't really called anything. So if you're miserable, you talk to a tree about it? No. What? You can't talk to trees. What do you think I am, crazy? Oh no, I didn't mean anything like that. Or maybe you talk to trees. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that you're crazy, even though you probably are if you talk to trees. I wouldn't recommend it in either case. People will think you're a weird person. No, just forget it. Shucks. She looks mildly confused, for which I don't blame her. She tilts her head a little aside, expression melting back to her usual one. Alright, I'm good at forgetting things. So why are we here? Are you miserable? I can't read the expression she makes. I hate how bad I am at interpreting Rin's mood. She doesn't answer right away, as if she's herself isn't quite certain of her own mood. The blank stare changes into a more difficult expression as she shuffles her weight around. Finally coming to a conclusion, Rin shrugs her shoulders. I've grown to seriously dislike that gesture. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe. I just feel like I'm sinking. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where I should go, that's all. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I thought walking might help. Kind of like if I go somewhere I would know where I should go. I don't really know if I did. It really would have made sense if walking had helped to decide where to go. So you want to try to get an exhibit? Or rather you don't know if you do, can't decide. Rin doesn't say anything for a while, arranging her thoughts in silence. The quiet is broken by birdsong from somewhere in the treetops, followed by rustling leaves as the bird takes flight. Maybe. I'm not sure if I can have a thing like that. So far I've only painted by myself. I don't think I could have my things on display the way I am now. This me couldn't do it. Her reason sounds like a weak excuse. I made my trademark frown, but she doesn't notice it. Trademark HISAO. Well, I don't get it. The teacher certainly thinks you could. I don't think he suggested otherwise. Sounds like he's calling in favors from his friends, too. I know. He's really done a lot for me, but this might be too much. Becoming someone who can do it might be pretty hard. Maybe I couldn't do it at all. He can't do it for me, and if I let him try, I'd just sink deeper. Deeper. Rin stands in front of the large maple and turns away from me. I want to close the few feet of distance between us, and I don't know, my irritation's suddenly gone, and I start feeling sympathetic to her. Oh, I know exactly how you feel. Well, maybe I don't, but still. I think I haven't felt like I was actually in control of my life this whole year. I'm just helplessly going with the flow. Like coming here to school, I didn't really choose it. I certainly didn't choose this time of my life to learn that I have this condition. I still can't casually say the word out loud. It's like, yeah, it's exactly like being underwater, like I can't even breathe. Rin turns to face me, a sad expression on her face. Is that why you look so sad all the time? I don't want to look sad like you. Do I look to you like you look to me? I don't look sad all the time. I don't know what I should be feeling. What kind of face should I be making? Me neither. Do I look sad now? Not really. You look like you always do, I think. But I'm sinking. I should try to float up. Up like a rubber duck. Quack, quack, all yellow and creepy. I had to think for a few seconds about which direction I should pursue in this conversation, and then I realized it doesn't matter. You think rubber ducks are creepy? You don't? I think they look very creepy. Everything that has eyes but isn't alive is very disturbing, like rubber ducks and reflections in mirrors. She plops down on the forest bed, leaning on the maple she named the worry tree. After wondering what to do for a minute, I sit down too, 3 feet apart from her. The forest envelops us in its embrace. Its stillness falls upon the two of us. We sit there without speaking for a long while. I can literally feel the time passing. Patches of sunlight litter the small clearing in a pattern that echoes the maple canopies. One of them falls directly on me, warming me all the way to the bone. I wonder what I could do for myself. Maybe for Rin. For now, I just keep watching her from this distance. Sometimes she cranes her neck way back, so much that it looks almost painful, and stares up at the small patch of sky visible past the canopy of the worry tree. Sometimes she just stares blankly, as if seeing something just beyond her reach. She keeps whispering to herself, but so quietly I can't hear her, even though I'm sitting right next to her. I only see her lips moving, like she was in the middle of a distant dream. I realize right now, I no longer feel any of the intense loneliness I feel at night, just before falling asleep. I might be more like Rin than I thought. I can either give up and stay submerged under the weight of all the crap in my life, or try to change myself for the better. Her decision's different, yet the same. And unlike her, I know for sure I can't stay like this forever. I have to change. Well, hell yeah, I want to be more like Rin. Rin can probably do it. Even though she seems to doubt herself, I have no doubts about her strength. She could do it even if she can't. It makes me feel a little better. I lean back against the tree, breathing out deeply as if the first time in a long time. We stay that way until the angle of the sun changes and the chilly shadows deepen. No longer warm where we sit, we leave the forest, returning along the same path we took. It doesn't seem like Rin has come to a decision. Oh, I wonder if it was a bad idea for me to come along. It's alright, I don't mind. I'm sure the trees and dirt and rocks won't mind either. Did you mind? Oh, no, I think it helped me too. While we walk back towards the dorms, the sky is changing to a deep ultramarine. The first summer stars twinkle softly from between spots in the canopy, barely visible like tiny fireflies. I become very self-conscious about Rin's presence. I haven't thought much about girls since things fell apart with Iwako. This is kind of the same situation as them, but to be honest, I don't really think it counts for much, not with Rin. And yet it feels good walking next to her, even if it isn't anything more than this. At first I think Rin agitated me quite a bit with her unpredictable behavior, but recently I feel like I haven't had to be on my toes so much. I've managed to let myself go a little. It makes me feel satisfied, even though ultimately I think it's more thanks to Rin than myself. She seems to be disinterested in a huge number of things, but something in her makes me try harder than I normally would. It's not that I want to impress her. I think that truly impressing Rin would take near superhuman effort just because of how she is. Instead, it's because there's this relentless feeling inside of me that I shouldn't let Rin down. It's really weird. I wonder why I started thinking like that. I don't even know what sort of expectation she has about pretty much anything. So how can I let her down? Rin has this unassuming air around her, and she doesn't really talk about stuff very often. Even today's confession of her self-doubt caught me a bit off guard. I feel like I want to talk more with her. The realization suddenly dawns on me that Rin is basically the only person I talk to. I have to endure Shizun, Misha, or Kenji, but I feel slightly depressed. In front of our dormitories, as if summoned by my dark thoughts, we run into Kenji himself. It feels very odd seeing him outside, breathing fresh outdoor air. At least it's already dusk. I partially expect Kenji would disintegrate upon direct exposure to the sun. Kenji himself seems very insecure as well, standing around looking like he's waiting for something but doesn't know what it might be. Hey Kenji, what are you doing? Hello. Who are you? What's that music? Bad news bears. Oh god. It's me, HISAO. Do you know Tezuka from class 3-4? Nah. From his face, I can see that not only does he doesn't know Rin, he also can't see her from this short distance. Oh, sup, dudes? Kenji sticks his hand enthusiastically forward, almost straight into Rin's stomach. Rin looks at his outstretched hand in confusion until Kenji clears his throat and retracts his hand. There's something almost cool that he manages to do with social awkwardness. It's not like I'm the most suave man on the planet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to even approach Kenji's level. I think I respect Kenji a little bit more. So you're waiting for someone? Whoa, Kenji. He leans closer. I see his facial muscles twitching. Come on, man, you know I can't talk about that stuff in public. They might be listening. I'm gonna have to go pick up some stuff from somewhere, and I don't want those snooping student council hags to get on my case. Also, I don't trust your friend. Nothing personal. Are you sure he's trustworthy? I really consider Kenji about Rin's gender, but might end up badly. I decide against it. Yeah, I'm sure. He turns from me to Rin, and I immediately get the feeling that I have to prevent them from talking to each other with whatever means necessary. However, there's nothing I can do now apart from physical violence. In that case, would you be interested in knowing about the worst threat to mankind since they invented vegetarianism? Hey, I take personal offense to that. I thought it was Sunday. I see you're not in the know. Yeah, man, I'm talking about man-eating cows here. Very few people know what I know, so I'm not surprised. We can talk here, but if you'd like a pamphlet, come to my room after curfew on Mondays or Wednesdays. He suddenly reaches to his pocket and draws out a ballpoint pen and what looks like a convenience store receipt. Kenji furiously scribbles on the scrap of paper, then thrusts it towards Rin, thrusting it. Yeah, here's the password. Memorize it, and then eradicate any trace of this document. Eat it, burn it, dissolve in acid, whatever. Take the receipt from Kenji as Rin is unable to do so and glance at it. It's indeed a receipt, apparently for 2 rice balls and 5 boxes of matches. I hope he's not going to burn anything down. Kenji! Kenji's password's honey muffin. I show it to Rin, but she shows no reaction. Thanks. Yo, HISAO, you still in that club? The Club of Dark Arts? Fine art? Yeah, we just had a meeting. Still got your wits about you? No shady mind tricks going on? Nothing personal, man, but I still have to be on top of things. Can't get caught up with my pants down. Speaking of which, you should really take showers a bit later. Gotta respect that personal space. Nothing personal. Kenji looks around as if he heard something, then straightens his jacket. Okay, I gotta scoot now before it gets too late. Later, dudes. Good luck. Kenji takes off. Rin looks at him, frowning. We watch after Kenji's diminishing figure in silence. What's wrong with him? Technically speaking, I think he's legally blind. Oh, I see. Honey muffin. Hey yo, baby, you got those honey muffins?